Hello and welcome to the program Voice of Christianity, Isa Ke Log, a program by the Christians, of the Christians, but for all of you audiences, as Christ and Christianity are for everybody. This program is an initiative of Jain TV to provide a platform to the minority Christian community. Ever since Malthus in 1798, the famous economist, proposed the theory that every time there is an increase of population, there is a burden on the food as well as on other facilities in the world, and therefore every time the population increases, there is a burden on the developmental side of the world, and therefore almost 200 years ago he proposed that the world needs to have a population control. And remember that at the time of Malthus in 1798, when he proposed this theory, the population of the world was just 800 million people. 800 million people. Right now in 2008, the population of the world has increased to 6.5 billion, which is more than 6.5 times, almost 7-8 times ever since Malthus predicted according to his economics theory. So what? Has the increase of population really taken our world backwards, or has it taken it forward? These are some very interesting questions that we would like to discuss today, and with me, before I introduce to you the Professor Agnello Bertolo, I would like to introduce his books for our audiences, which is Fertility and Progress, and there is another book by him, Population, Problems and Paradoxes. There are other booklets that he has written, but I would like to introduce these two books, very interesting books, Fertility and Progress and Population, Paradoxes and Problems. Both of them written by him. He is a professor and a historian. We are very happy to welcome you, Dr. Agnello Bertolo. He is from Italy, and he is basically a historian, but proposes this very interesting theory that when the population increases, the world does not go back. Basically it reads like this: humanity progresses when the birth rate is high, it does not progress but regresses when the birth rate is low, devolving towards its decadence and extinction. So that is a theory given by Dr. Agnello Bertolo. And remember that in India we have always had this huge problem of family planning. We are trying to control our population, hum ek hamara ek, ya hum ek hamare do, hum do hamare do, all those kinds of small family, happy family, etc. were the slogans that promoted family planning. But right now India, which is progressing so fast, people are beginning to say that finally we are on the lucky ground, that we have enough hands to labor, to put in work for our progress. These are some of the things that we would be discussing in our program, and I would like to welcome Dr. Agnello once again, and thank you very much for coming to our program today. Congratulations for these books that you have written. They are wonderful books. So you basically want to say, Doctor, that the theory proposed by Malthus was weak and was not correct.
He did not have confidence in life. His contemporary Benjamin Franklin, an American in England, he was proud to boast that his new country at that time had a population of 3.5 million people. The women had an average of 11 children, and that was a sign of great progress for the United States at the moment. So Benjamin Franklin had confidence in life. Thomas Malthus had not.
This was at the same time as Malthus?
Contemporary. He gave this information to, he was on a mission, diplomatic mission in England, And he gave conferences talking about his new country. And one of the topics was that the population was growing enormously. And this was the maximum élan vital, vital driving force that the United States showed at this moment. In any case, this confidence in life. You don't make children when you are rich, when you can feed them. But when you have confidence in life, people that from the east went to the far west in the United States, they had hardship. The conditions were not good. There were no houses they had to build, but they had confidence. They wanted to construct a future. Instead, Malthus took the same information with another point of view. But Malthus did not take into consideration that men occupy a territory. They're not rats. They are not animals to check. Men are something more. Men have intelligence. Men can discover new resources that Malthus or men of his time could not have. Man has the genius.
So did Malthus compare human beings with rats?
Well, this is an exaggeration,
yeah.
But I would say, someone made an experiment. For example, let's take a square mile. Let's put some biological species. Could be rats, or laboratory rats normally. The land is good. The rats could multiply. There was water, food, and everything. At a certain but after there was a fence, and these rats could not go out. After a certain period, the population, the resources were finished. They were limited for them, and they start killing one another. Oh. But the population of the rats remained constant for a certain period of time. But men are not rats. Right. Men have discovered new sources, and men have the genius to create new things. So this is a difference. And notice today there is more food at the disposal of every person in the world today than at Malthus' time, in Malthus' time. And at that time, the population was, you said before, it was less than 1 billion. Today there are 6 billion, 7 billion almost, and there is more food at disposition. This is just one flash.
Yeah, but what is the reason for that? Is it because there are more people, so they are producing more food, or because there were less people, they were producing less food? How is it?
That is a good topic, a good question, and it takes time organized to. First of all, as in the statement you read before. In 5,000 years of history, we know, but even in prehistoric time, starting from the Indus Valley civilization to the very present modern day today, progress means something new regarding to what it was before. Especially in technology and science and the economy, especially, something new was created, something new in a phase when the birth rate was high, when the population was increasing. But contrary, in history, we have had also periods when the population was decreasing, when the birth rate was low. Both periods are, let's say, natural, let's say, in the evolution of one species, of one civilization.
So, example of where the population was decreasing.
Yes.
Example of any country where
Rome.
Rome.
Just to give one example, Rome had a great empire and a great civilization. Romans were engineers. Let's say, for the moment, let's say, take in consideration ships. To build a ship is technology, science and technology. Roads and bridges. Let's say all the other. The construction of roads in the Roman Empire was very great. The ships were technically of high level.
Ships,
yes, just
in the sea.
Cross in the sea, to cross the oceans. At the end of the Roman Empire, let's say 3rd, 4th century AD, the population of the Roman Empire started to decrease because of a natural need, let's say, of the population to decrease, let's say. Instead, in the first phase, the population was growing. Families were numerous. The morality, families were strong. In the last period, it was the opposite. It was preparing to a lengthy, long decadence and death. With the death of the population came also the death or the loss of science and technology. Listen, the Roman ships that sail the seas. Technically, we we find something new, something more advanced technologically with the invention of the steam engine in the 18th century, so 1500 years after. During this period, the technology had fallen. Men could travel by ship or by road following the same patterns of the roads that the Romans but there had been these decades even in technology. You understand? We had this leap forward with the 18th century, not with the steam engine first, and then all the other machines. From the time of the steam engine, let's say 18th century, up to the present day, that was an epoch of high birth rates. People started growing. No? Up to the present time. Notice, in the 18th century, the population was, let's say, a little more than 500 million. It was 1 billion in 1820, and today there are 6 billion. Has there been increasing the population? Yes, you would say. Has there been an increase also technology and science in the economy? This is just a starting point of view that could seem trivial, could seem, it's too simple. Yes, it's too simple. But
I will come back to that question.
Yes.
I think Dr. Agnello is telling us something quite interesting, and the main point is this, that whenever there is an increase in population, there is greater development in the world, but whenever there is a decrease in population, and he gave us an example of Rome. तो जो भारत में हम अक्सर ये मानते हैं कि जब जब आबादी बढ़ती है तब तक विकास कम होता है, क्योंकि आबादी पूरा जो खाद्य पदार्थ पैदा करती है धरती, वो ये अधिक पॉपुलेशन खा जाती है, ऐसा हम लोग मानते हैं, और इसीलिए हम जनसंख्या को हमेशा या आबादी को हमेशा नियंत्रण करने की कोशिश करते हैं। आप कह रहे हैं कि नहीं, ये करना ज़रूरी नहीं है, क्योंकि जितनी ज़्यादा आबादी होगी उतना ज़्यादा विकास होगा। समय हुआ एक छोटे से ब्रेक के लिए, देखते रहिए वॉइस ऑफ क्रिश्चियनिटी।